absolutely.
I guess I'll transition here from, as I was saying, there's been some conspiracy talk of these assassins being the tip of a spear, or just the head of something that goes deep rooted underground in the dark and out of sight. Something that I just heard last week, somebody mentioning in a podcast, the Illuminati, which they're all, that group is almost described as some kind of a mystical, magical, smoky force that nobody can see. That's part of the problem with this. So for those of you who don't know, for whatever reason, you may be very young, Illuminati is supposed to be a force, an organized force that is controlling things. And like Black Peter, the evil Santa Claus, comes and takes people out in the middle of the night. Instead of wearing white and red, he's wearing black and green, and he comes and takes away the bad kids. Nobody knows what happens. There's never any witnesses or any of that. So, please, people, educate me. I want to hear about this. If you really feel like this is something that's true and real, unlike the mafia, who have names and they have faces that we can see, but that they're controlling Hollywood or whatever. So just a few of the things that I've heard about this that doesn't make sense to me is like the secret societies, or the skulls, that they
The open society.
people, they sell their souls or they compromise themselves. There's video of them doing stuff that would put them away, and so for fear of that getting out, they play along with what they're told to do, with what they're asked to do. But one thing is, I heard this thing about the country is run by a panel of old white men. They're running everything. And when I think of that, I think of, like, 12 guys. I don't know why, but, I see the number 12 for some reason. One second.
Yeah.
A coworker once, he really believed this, and said it with conviction. This country is run by a panel of old white men. So my first question: how old do you have to be on this panel? What do you consider old? What is that? If you believe that George W. is on this panel, at what age did he qualify? Like, you got to be 35 to be president. You got to be 21 to drink. How do you define old to be on this panel? Then how do you define white? What
Right.
is that? Because for all intents and purposes, white is really European. I remember reading in history books, some ignorant racist people or oppressive people a couple 300 years ago were talking about, for somebody to be white, that there could be no one other than Europeans on both sides of your family for 8 generations or something like that.
But there's white South Africans. There's white Africans.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, right, right. Well, that's what we
yeah.
consider as a race of,
Mm-hmm.
people's origin, or where the people
Right.
come from. But yeah, for sure,
Right. Right.
Elon is African American. Yeah,
Great example of that.
yeah. So,
African American.
old white man. How old do you have to be on this panel? If it's a secret society, how does stuff ever get out? How do things ever get out and escape?